On the Honda, it's a little bit wet here today, so I've got this thing set up. I'm just going to sand this back down and re-prime it. All sanded down, ready to be primed again now. And we'll get some black on this thing in the next few days. Well, that's the second coat. It always looks a lot better when you do it twice. With fiberglass, it's hard to, you just can't see the pinholes. Now they're all done, it's going to look quite good. So give it one more coat and it'll look pretty good. Just back so you can see the thing I've got here. I really should have made the shed a bit bigger and put in a spray booth. But I wasn't really supposed to be doing work here. Right, this morning I'm going to wet rub that. Got some 320, some 400, it's pretty much the same stuff, and 600. And yeah, I'll flick some black over that and then I'll rub it down with 800 and I'll decide what I'm going to do, whether I'll just leave it black or paint something on the roof. And it is all rubbed down. All those dents are gone out of the roof. It was just wavy all over. Well, I'll just dry that off and put it inside. Thick. A little bit thick as shit. Yeah, right. Doesn't matter. It's only base coat. Yep.
Bit more sanding.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Just a fraction thick.
Yeah.
That'll do. That is that done. That's just the first, that's like a base coat sort of thing. I'm going to let that dry for a couple of days. I'll rub it down with 800 and I'll give it another 4 coats. And then that's done. And I want to mask off some stripes in the centre. I'm just going to put something on it. I just want to make sure it looks good. I don't want it to overtake the look of the car. I don't want you to be able to see it. I want you to be able to see the car and not that. You only see that when you sort of come up to it. That's the plan. If it doesn't work out, I'm just going to scrap it. I need to take the chrome plater. I'm going to go to a different chrome plater, obviously. The other one burned down. Still owes me money. This stuff's getting chromed. These things. This one's not too bad. I had to drill these out. I've got to tap them. That one's in one piece. This one's split. It's split through there. And a split down there. So I'm just about to weld that up. Those splits are fixed. You don't see that little hole there that's covered. And this edge is covered by a rubber. It goes up to there all the way along. So that's done. It's not easy to weld that stuff, but that's fixed. And I've tapped those threads. So all the stuff's ready to go to the chrome platers now. I'm back on this thing for a bit. It's wet this week. So I won't be getting this painted in the next few days, but nothing stopping me from sanding it down, getting it ready for when I do get some sun. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to rub the whole thing down with 800, and then it'll be ready for the final coat. But then I'm also going to paint grey, white, be black, grey and white, and I may or may not do some red, but I'm thinking of just doing it black, grey and white. This thing I want to do on the roof, these sort of stripe things. If this roof was a permanent part of the car, I definitely would not be doing it. I'm only doing that because it comes on and off, and yeah, that's basically why I'm doing it. Got this all rubbed down with 800. I didn't film it, it's just rubbing down. What's the film? Anyway, that's ready to be painted. As soon as I get a warm day, put the black on, then that'll be the black done. And then I'll tape it up and start doing the next part, which will probably be the white. And my mate from the chrome plates that burnt down rang me yesterday. Actually, he's close to a settlement, so we're going to get something out of that. I'm just going to see if these things will clean up. Like where I've welded this knot. Where's that there? But I did find there's a little crappy bit here. There's a little bit of corrosion there, and it's very difficult to weld that. It's probably not impossible, but a bit annoying. The only chrome plate, a decent chrome plate I can find is in Brisbane. Just going to see what this cleans up like. It's some sort of alloy thing. It might just clean up. Like these bits here, they're not originally chrome. That is, and these things. So I'll just clean up a few bits, see how they go. Like we can always get them chromed later. I just want to drive to Brisbane. That's not going to dry. That's not going to clean up that. So we're probably going to have to go up there, but it won't be this week, it'll be next week. Got that one fitting really nice, and this one now. They're both fitting good. So I'm going to put this rubber thing around the edge like that. It's sort of like that from factory, but this rubber's actually joined to the rubber that goes around the back of the whole roof. The thing is, I've got these ugly dents here. So I'm going to try and get them. Oops. I'm going to try and get them out. But it's right where this thing is here, so see how we go. Yeah, fix the dents there. It's the proper way to really do that, to get the chrome removed. But, yeah, I've got to take it to a chrome plater, give it to them. I've got to drive to Brisbane, get them to remove it, then drive back and pick them up and then repair them. Anyway, this bit here, that fits in like that. There's a couple of little ugly bits there, you don't even see them. And this rubber covers that top edge. So they're pretty much done, but these need to be smoothed out, otherwise they'll come up in the chrome. And there's a hole there, and there's a hole there. So I'm going to have to make up my mind what I want to do with that. I'm not going to do it today, I've done enough. You can see the chunk out of it there, and there's a hole there. The stuff's pretty thin. I think it's stainless too, but it's also chromed. I'm just going to have to fix it. I don't want to leave it like that. It looks stupid. The only other option I've got is if I paint this stuff, which I don't really want to do, but save me going to Brisbane. These things will polish up alright. That was just a quick go. A bit of sanding, they'll look really good. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it for now. Tomorrow I'll weld that up and fix that, and I'm just going to have to take them to a good chrome plater, get them to do them. I'm back on this. It's got that little hole, and there's a fairly large hole. Like welding that, it's not impossible. I did weld that other stuff, it's the same stuff, but I'm just looking at it. This goes like here. It goes up in here, right? And that goes there like that. I'm trying to do it with one hand. I really don't think it needs to have that bit there. That goes in under the windscreen rubber. So what I'm thinking of doing is cutting it off at the end and just shaping it so it comes down. I'm just thinking of welding this. But, if it doesn't work out, like it's probably impossible, I'll trim it down neat here and straight across and get rid of that bit on both sides. It's not really necessary. I'll give it a crack. I managed to save that. It took a bit. That is not easy shit to weld at all. Anyway, that'll be fine. It's only just that little bit at the front. I just decided I wanted to keep that on there because it does catch a bit of rain and diverts it down towards away from the pillar. Anyway, that'll be fine. That chrome will sort the rest of that out. Alright, what I want to do now is hook up the fuel line. It's easier said than done. There's no room, absolutely no room. I'm just going to pull this bumper bracket off and see that's the fuel pump just up in there, and just see the bottom of that brass thing. So that the hose from the tank's got to go straight to the fuel pump, I believe, and then it'll come out of the fuel tank and go into the filter, and then it'll come to this top line which feeds the engine. But I don't have that filter. I've got this filter here, so I've got to try and fit this in there somewhere. Well, so there we go. Something like hooking up the fuel line would be straightforward. So I've got that temporary filter there, and I've bypassed that thing for now until I get I'll actually get the proper filter for that thing, and then I'll redo it. But for now, that's done. But man, absolutely zero space. Zero. It took me a couple of hours to finish off that fuel line. But it's ready to put fuel in now. That's a big thing. I'm going to stick some gas in this car tomorrow, because it's not ready to wind over. Tomorrow I'm going to bleed the brakes and the clutch, make sure that none of that's leaking. And I still haven't got the proper fuel cap. I've only got a 7 pound. I want to get a 4 or 5. And then I'll finish off the starter. This is the starter wire here, and I've got to make sure I've got the right wires here, because this burnt out. This was burnt out. All the earth in this whole system was fully burnt out. I've replaced all the earth wires throughout the whole loom. That's got to be hooked up. That's part of the fuel pump, this little thing here. So I'm told. I would have never knew what it is. That makes the fuel pump work. So something here works with that. It's probably this wire, but it may be one of these. I've got to look into it. I've got to double check. Oh no, actually this wire goes here, sorry. This wire is part of that. So it's one of these two wires here. I've got to get the wiring diagram and double check. That's a blue with a white stripe. And looks green with a black, and oh well, that is black. We'll see. But they're the only two wires left, and this wire here, I'm presuming it goes back to the ignition, and it'll go on here, and so will some of this thing here. It's got to be short, and I've got to put ends on it. That's coming up. I've got to get this car winding back over so I can make sure there's no leaks in the fuel pump and all that crap I just put on. It was a miracle I got it on, actually. So hard to get down in there. I had to lift this car up and down at least 10 times. I'm glad I got a hoist. Anyway, that's enough whinging for today. I'm done. Put it up and put the bumper bracket back on. I had to move that to get into that. Still looks all right. Everything's done, ready. Just about getting there. Like I said, I want to get this thing winding over. I've got to get ignition at the key. So that's happening in the next few days. I've also got to remove a couple of panels on our fence and chop some big trees. They're hanging over the neighbour's yard. So that's probably going to happen next week. Just glued those front carpets to the firewall on both sides. Just let that dry. I've done this side. That was making a noise. I put some rubber grease in between the rubber seal and the firewall where the steering column goes through. I'll do a bit on the other side as well. It seems like it was mainly this side that was making the noise. Alright, next thing I'm doing, I'm going to bleed the brakes and the clutch. So I'm going to pour brake fluid in there, and I've got a thing that I can do it by myself. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe a bit tricky doing that down there, but I should be able to get at it. I'll video with my left hand. So if it goes off, it goes off. But yeah, just pouring this stuff in here. That's enough for now. I've got the little spanner ready on that thing down there. But I've got this thing here. So you just put that on the end of it. You hook it up to the air line, you pull that, it just sucks it through. There's that. That's done now, the clutch. I'll just give it another try, but I should have glued those carpets after I did this, so in the morning I'll give it a try. I can always give it another suck through, but that sucked through 3 of those. So that's done. Now I'm going to do the brake, which is going to take me a little bit of lifting up and down. That thing is, oh, that goes in there somehow. It sits like that. Alright, I'll fill that up now. If I can do it without shaking too much. I just don't want to spill the stuff. That'll do. I'll just go up. Basically, for those you don't know, the farthest one from here, so that'll be the left rear. Then you do the right rear, then you do the right left front, and then you do the right front. And then go over to, you know, just keep going. So I've got a problem with this master cylinder here. Not sure what it is. You know, I'm going to pull it back off and have a look at it. Didn't go too good. This master cylinder leaking. Like I honed it, but it did have a little mark, a tiny mark. I was probably going to have to get that sleeved. This thing here, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the one I got off Brenton. It works perfectly. This line I made is a dud. It's leaking. So I've got to get a better line, make that work. And I may have to send this and get it sleeved. We'll see. I'll definitely have a look at it. Got that all back apart. It's just a bare body now. But I think it's been honed before. And it did have a little mark. It's still got a couple of little marks. So it's just not going to work. That has to be sleeved. This thing here, it was a little bit loose at that fitting, so I'd probably be okay. I just might clean these up a little bit with a file, a little bit, and like I can put that all together on the bench and see if it leaks, so that's what I'll be doing. But that thing's got to be rebuilt. It doesn't really come up on this camera, but there's an imperfection in the flare, and that's causing that to leak. And this end here is probably the same. I'm going to remake this pipe anyway. That's a way better flare. That won't leak. Just got to do another one like that. Okay, that's all back together. It's 100% dry. There's nothing drop, no drop anywhere. And the clutch works. I've had it work. I've tried it. It works. It's all bled, everything. So that's done. I've got the other thing. The other master cylinder's all packed. It's this afternoon's getting sent to Adelaide. I'll get them guys to rebuild it. That's, you know, that's their job. They can do that. Now I'm going to pour fuel in it and make sure that doesn't leak. I already know that fuel tank doesn't leak, and it really can't leak anywhere. So I'm pretty confident that thing doesn't leak. Okay, I'll try and film this. I hope that's bloody aimed at it. This is the first time, probably, I don't know, 50 years or something, since around 79, 77, since this car's had fuel in it. It was a big day. Got about 7 litres here. I'll just put the whole lot in. Probably film the whole thing, but it's a big day. Putting fuel in this car, I tell you that. I hope that's bloody aimed at it. This is a special container. I got this from America. It cost me about 120 bucks for this. I bought one for my dad too. We just push this button and the fuel comes out of it. Still going. There you go. Still going. That's enough. That's 7 litres of fuel. Perfect. Okay. Can't remember if I need the key to shut this or not. I think I do. How does that work? Yeah, it double check that. This one anyway, you got to push the thing in and then push it down, then pull it out. Anyway, she's got fuel in her. I'll lift this car up now and see. I'll just make sure there's no fuel coming out of it anywhere. I know there's nothing coming out of the tank. I know that because I've fully pressure tested it. Then I poured that sealer in it after I pressure tested it. Now that's done. Do one more walk around of this car. Good looking little car. I really like the white. They look good any colour really, but red or white are the colours for these cars, or maybe black, silver. And there's other colours, but to me, white is the best colour. Now I've still got to get the seats done, got to buy wheels, got to finish the top, as rain stops. I've got to do some wiring, that's next. I'll get the wiring done and fire this thing back up. When I lifted it up, there was fuel on the ground. I've come over here and it's pissing out of that bung there. That thing. Some idiot forgot to tighten it up. Anyway, crisis averted. That's good. I was so pissed off when I seen fuel on the floor. Anyway, it was just coming out of that bung. I didn't tighten it up. That's all done. It's not leaking anywhere. You really can't leak. You can't leak. I'll worry about, like I've used these high pressure clamps, high pressure fuel clamps. Only ever use them with fuel. Don't stuff around with bloody radiator clamps here. Garbage. Anyway, that's enough for the day, I reckon. I'm going to have a bit of a bloody probably rest. It's raining. Next video, I'll be finishing off the wiring on this car. There's not a real lot. I'll get it winding over on the key and get it running. That's my plan anyway. I've got to order some weird screws that go around the back here. The guys at the bolt shop, they don't exist. They're M4 by 0.75. Every M4 you ever come across is 0.8, but they don't fit in there. So I've got to buy special ones, so I'll probably get them from Classic Fasteners. I need 16 of them, and they charge like wounded bulls. But whatever, you've got to have them, otherwise I can tap that out and put 0.8s, but they're never as good. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.